Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today we are here with some bold predictions for F1 2017. It's not even 2017 yet, and I want to give some bold predictions about what I think might happen this season. Now, lots is going on in the driver market right now. We're still waiting to see who will partner Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes for next season, so that's a big part of F1 right now, is who's going to get that seat. It looks like it's going to be Valtteri Bottas, and we're going to base this video on suggesting that Valtteri Bottas does get that seat. It makes a bit more of an interesting video, so that's what we're going to go with for this one. So my first bold prediction of 2017 is that Bottas, if he does join Mercedes next season, will not be as far off as a lot of people think he will of Lewis Hamilton. I don't think that Bottas is going to win the championship, but a lot of people seem to be he's going to be left way in Hamilton's dust. But I remember when Vettel was joined by Ricciardo at Red Bull in 2014, I personally didn't think that Ricciardo was going to come anywhere near Vettel, who was obviously a four-time world champion. He'd won the last 4 championships. And he obviously, he beat Vettel in the championship and obviously did much better that season. So I think that's not write Bottas off whatsoever for next season. I think that's a bold prediction on my part because it could go horribly wrong. Hamilton could wipe the floor and I could look very silly for the millionth time on this channel. Next up is I think that Daniel Ricciardo will beat Max Verstappen in the championship next year. He went under the radar a little bit this season, Daniel Ricciardo. He was voted as Autosport's #1 driver of the season, but in general he didn't really outstand, crazy results in terms of loads of overtaking and that sort of stuff. Verstappen sort of stole the spotlight is what I'm trying to say here. Ricciardo obviously did have some amazing results where he did some amazing things, but Verstappen sort of stole the sort of spotlight away from him this season, and it's very close. To go into next season, it's a very tough one about who of those two is going to get more points. But so my second bold prediction is that Ricciardo is going to score more points than Verstappen. This one could come back to bite me. And by the way, I sort of always do these sort of opinion videos, and then people have a go at me like, hey, wait a second, you hate Verstappen now. No, I don't hate any drivers on the grid, guys. So please don't have a go at me for saying, oh, I don't think this is going to happen. I do think this is going to happen. Apologies if it's against your driver or whatever, but I have nothing against any drivers. Please understand that. And of course, I forgot to mention, if you've got any of your sort of bold predictions for yourself, leave them in the comment section down below. It'd be really interesting. Do you agree with any of mine? Do you disagree? And also, do you have any that you think are completely different to mine? Leave them in that comment section. So it's a bold prediction right now, and I did talk about this obviously a little bit earlier on in the video, saying that Bottas wouldn't be wiped by Lewis Hamilton whatsoever, but if I was to predict a world champion right now as we sit here, it just has to be Lewis Hamilton, because let's be honest, I look at how this car, this year's car was, and how, evolving into next year where it could go. It could go definitely a few ways, whether Mercedes could continue that momentum and just keep getting even stronger, or they could just sort of go back into where they were before. I mean, 2012 and before that, they weren't a particularly amazing team, Mercedes. They did get the one win in 2010 to 2012, which was obviously in 2012, but apart from that, they didn't really surprise anyone. They were just sort of mid-table for a lot of that. Who knows, Mercedes could go back into the mid-table. I think that would make F1 a lot more interesting, but if I was to pick a world champion right now, it would have to be Lewis Hamilton. So a bit of a weird prediction, maybe, possibly, I don't know, it is who's going to be driving for Manor next season. Who knows? So it looks like Pascal Wehrlein is off the Sauber. That looks like that's going to be confirmed quite shortly. I mean, we were obviously, I think that was going to be confirmed anyway. Like, if the Mercedes contract didn't float around, they would have been confirmed a lot sooner. But it looks like Wehrlein is off to Sauber for next season. So who's going to be racing for Manor? Bit of a sort of not so important one, I suppose, for a lot of people. But Manor do make up the grid, and they could be scoring points next year once again if they have the right drivers in that seat. But who do I think is going to drive for them? So if I was to pick anyone right now, I think it's going to be Rio Haryanto alongside Felipe Nasr, who I think is going to lose out on that Sauber seat. So that's another little prediction in there. Who knows whether that's going to actually happen or not. But F1 2017 could be quite interesting here. We're getting a really good driver lineups here, guys. Haryanto and Nasr, maybe not the best, but it will keep Man on the grid, and that could help them push them up the grid with that financial backing. Now, a very bold prediction is that I think Felipe Massa is going to come back to Williams and race for them next season. I think the Driver Championship will be decided at the Brazilian Grand Prix. I think the Singapore Grand Prix will be boring. I think Kvyat will win the Russian Grand Prix. And I think Alonso and Hamilton are going to crash into each other at the first corner of the Australian Grand Prix. So overall, guys, just a little bit of, out there, what do I think is going to happen? Some of them obviously serious, some of them obviously not. But I think 2017 is going to be very interesting here. Fingers crossed it's going to be closer than last season. Obviously, 2016, 2015, 2014 was dominated all by one car, really. We had a couple of people, Ferrari, Red Bulls, they could challenge from time to time, but it was really dominated from Mercedes the last 3 seasons, and the 3 or 4 seasons before that was dominated by Red Bull. So keep our fingers crossed that we're going to have a few more people challenging for that championship. I think, right now, if I say it, Hamilton's going to be champion, but I keep my fingers crossed that maybe Ferrari, Red Bull, even someone like Renault could, maybe not this season, but in a couple of seasons, they could be up there once again. 3 or 4 or 5 teams being, able to win each race would be absolutely awesome. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think the Mercedes will dominate next season. I think Hamilton will probably win the championship. It depends on his teammate, but it looks like it's going to be Bottas, and I think Hamilton is still better than Bottas, but I don't think it'll be quite as big gap as a lot of people are suggesting. So it's been thrown out there, some random predictions, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Remember to leave a like on this video. Let's try and hit 100 likes. That'd be absolutely epic. And until next time, it's been Axe, I'm out of here. One last thing before you go, guys, check out these 2 videos. Oh, no, where's my finger? There it is. Check out these 2 videos up here. I'm going to try and put them right here. So if you have missed them out, that'd be pretty epic. I think there'll be some F1 2005. We did a live stream yesterday, my friend Will. That's pretty funny. And also probably some Motorsport Manager up there as well. So if you haven't checked them out, remember to do so. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been awesome to have you here on the channel. That was a weird outro. Who cares? Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been Axe, I'm out of here. Goodbye.